everyone, this is Ashely, Sparkly Canadian Crafty Girl, and I'm here guest designing for the greeting farm. I'm going to be using this stamp set, Let It Snow, and I'm going to be using those two super sweet little polar bears there. So I have them stamped out already, and I'm going to be sharing with you today how to paper piece. So I thought it would be fun to make those little scarves into these little gingham, super cute little scarves. So I'm just sharing with you guys how I do that. So I'm just taking that little polar bear stamp, and I already have it stamped out onto the white cardstock, and now I'm just showing you that I'm going to be stamping out onto this paper. I used Memento Tuxedo Black ink. That's my favorite ink for Copic coloring. And then I'm just cutting out that little guy, and I will set him aside. So you just stamp the whole image there. And then I'm also going to make a little red one. So again, just inking that up, and I'm going to just stamp it right onto the paper there. And these papers just remind me of winter and being cozy, so I thought this would just make the cutest little polar bears. And the best thing for paper piecing is to have a good tiny little pair of scissors. I like to use these little scissors here that are from eBay, and they're sewing scissors. So if you have a good pair of sewing scissors, if not, there's many scissors on the market that you can use, but those are my favorite. So I also decided I wanted to use this little bow, and I had not stamped that out yet. So I stamped it there on the cardstock, and then I'm also just stamping it here onto the gingham paper. And the nice thing about clear stamps is you can see the paper image behind it. So you can see what part of the paper is going to show through. So I made sure with that little image just to get a little bit of the red and the cream color there. And now I'm just going to start cutting out that little scarf. So it's nice if you have the cardstock part stamped out first, so you can use it as a reference to look where you're cutting. Sometimes it's a little tricky to see what part belongs to where. So I'm just fussy cutting out this little scarf, and although some people don't like fussy cutting, it is so worth it. This just makes the cutest images when you paper piece. It just adds this little pop onto your card. So I definitely recommend it if you've never tried it. And this polar bear is really great. It's a bigger image, so you can easily cut out these little cute stamped scarves there. So there is the black scarf, easy peasy, it's so cute. And now I am cutting out that little bow, and that will just add cuteness as well. And then I'm just setting it there. And then I'm going to cut out that other scarf. And again, you can use the stamped image to look and see where you're cutting, because sometimes it is a little bit tricky. I just think these guys look so sweet. So then I'm just cutting out there, and I'm also going to do some Copic coloring. Usually I would suggest Copic coloring before you glue on the images, but today I'm just going to be adding a little bit of shading to those polar bears, so I am going to glue them down first just for the ease of this video. And then there we go, and it looks awesome. It just adds so much pop. I like to use just a glue stick to glue it on. I just find it works better to use a glue stick than trying to use any of the other adhesives. So you just hold it on there. And another thing you can do is if you take an acrylic stamp pad, you can set it on top just to keep it from lifting and help it adhere there. And I just had a little smudge there, so I'm just taking that part off and adding on that cute little scarf there. So cute. So I am just putting all that little scarf on, and then I'm going to do some Copic coloring. Thank you again so much to the Greeting Farm for having me do this video. It is so exciting and such an honor to be a part of the Greeting Farm channel. If you're watching this on my channel, please head over and subscribe to the Greeting Farm. There is a ton of great inspiration on there. And if you're on the Greeting Farm channel, I would love if you popped over to my channel as well and checked it out. So here are the Copic colors I'm going to be using. I used Black 100 to do that little nose, and I'm just coloring it in. I think that adds a little pop as well. And then I'm just coloring in the little cocoa in that cup. So I used E57 for the darker. And I added the darker on either side so it kind of comes in. And then this is E55. So that is for the coffee or the cocoa or whatever yummy beverage is in that cup. And then I really like to add dimension with my white jelly pen. So I just added a little bit of dimension there on the nose. And I did it opposite sides because these two little cuties are going to be sitting side by side. And then using R20, I just added a little bit of pink into the ears and a little bit of pink on their cheeks there. And then one of my very favorite things to do is just add 3 little white dots on the cheeks. I just think it looks so cute, and it just adds a little bit of character to the cute images. So there is the cute little cheeks and eyes. And then I wasn't sure if I wanted to use a lighter gray or a darker gray, so I'm just trying it out on that scrap piece there. And I decided I wanted to go in with the lightest, which was CO. And I'm just adding a little bit of shading there, and I'm kind of doing it in little flicking motion just to make it have a little bit of kind of like furry dimension there. So I'm just adding a tiny bit of shading under the arms and places where the sun would catch. And I'm doing it to the girl face too. And I did add a little bit of dimension in closer to the face for the girl. I think that looks really, really cute. And then I am going to color in those super cute little cups. So using R39, this is kind of like a nice burgundy color. This is one of my newer Copics. I love it. I'm just coloring in the whole cup with one color. I decided not to shade it because it was such a small little spot. So I just used one color there. And then for the other cup, I decided I would do it with black 100. So I'm just coloring that in as well. And again, no shading on the cup. It's just so tiny. I thought I would just leave it the way it is. And later I'll add Wink of Stella to it. So that will give it some cute glimmer. And then I go in with my white jelly pen and just add a little bit of dimension there. I love that white jelly pen. Then I decided I was going to go back in with C2 and add a little bit more dimension on those polar bears just so that it has a little bit more of a furry texture look. So I'm just flicking in at any spot where I think there would be a little bit of fur. So on the toes there, on the head, the elbows, and then on their little belly there. And I just added a little bit on the side. I just thought that looked really cute. And then just a little bit more on the face there. So I'm just showing you guys what that looks like. It looks so cute. And then I am going to do my favorite part ever when I have paper pieced images is to cut them out. So again, using those sewing scissors, I'm going to just cut out my little images. And these little images I'm going to use on a card next week, which will also be here on the Greeting Farm channel. So if you haven't, please subscribe so that you don't miss it. And I will be showing you a cute way to use these on a card. And I do have another technique. So this week I was sharing with you paper piecing, but next week I will be sharing with you another cute technique on a card. So I'll be using these little cuties. On my channel, paper piecing was probably one of my most popular videos, so I thought I would do paper piecing for this video because I know a lot of you really enjoy seeing how to paper piece. And if you haven't tried it, please try it out and leave comments. I would love to know if you're going to try out the technique or how it worked for you guys, or just if you enjoyed the video, give me a big thumbs up. So I'm just adding on that little bow, and I was trying to decide if I wanted it to be the middle of her head or on the side, and I do go with the side. I thought that was cute. So there is her sweet little bow. And then one of my favorite things is Wink of Stella. So I had to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to these cuties. So they got some Wink of Stella there on the mugs, and that just looks so cute. So that is my cute little bears, and I will include, there it is, I will include a link below of where you can find these cute stamps.